In the year 2473, Earth finally built something that no human had ever imagined before, a warship made for deep space. It was called the Vanguard. It was not big. It was not shiny. But inside, it carried the most advanced technology ever created by humans. Across the stars, the alien races watched. The most powerful among them, the Zarkan Empire, looked at Earth's creation and laughed. They had ruled space for centuries. To them, humans were still children playing with toys. Earth had no colonies, no fleets, and no place in the Galactic Council. Zarkan leaders saw the news reports. They saw the small Earth ship rising from its launch platform. The ship looked slow, weak, and simple. The aliens mocked it on every channel. One Zarkan commander even said, "This is not a warship. It's a metal box." Their laughter echoed through the stars. But back on Earth, no one replied. The humans stayed silent. No media fight, no angry speeches, just silence. That made the aliens laugh even harder. To them, it looked like fear. But behind Earth's silence, there was something else, something hidden. The Vanguard had no large crew. Only 3 humans were inside: Captain Mira Lane, Engineer Tom Reyes, and AI operator Neil Park. But the real brain of the ship was not human. It was an artificial intelligence named Artemis. She was created in a secret Earth lab. Her mind was faster than any human. She could learn, think, and fight like no other machine. The ship's first mission was not war. It was just a test, a deep space flight away from Earth to see how the new systems worked. But this mission was not made public. Even Earth's allies didn't know where the Vanguard was going. The ship quietly left Earth's orbit. It jumped into a far star system, empty, cold, and dark. There were no planets there, no life, only silence, perfect for testing. But the Zarkan Empire was watching. A scout ship hidden near Earth had followed the Vanguard. The scout sent a message to its commanders. Target moving to empty zone. Alone. Weak. Zarkan Fleet Admiral Kratal smiled when he heard the report. He was a proud and brutal leader. He believed Earth needed to be taught a lesson. To him, this was the perfect chance. Let them test their toy, he said. Then we will crush it. Back on the Vanguard, Captain Mira was reading the ship's logs. Everything was running smoothly. Engines were stable. Weapons systems were ready for testing. Artemis, the AI, spoke in a calm voice. All systems green. Shall I begin weapon trials? Start phase 1, Mira answered. Energy built up inside the warship's new cannon. It was silent, but powerful. No alien had ever seen this type of energy before. Suddenly, Artemis spoke again. Her tone had changed. Warning. Unidentified ship detected at 10,000 kilometers. The crew sat up straight. A Zarkan scout had found them. It was fast and aggressive. It flew closer, sending loud signals. Earth ship, the alien voice said, power down and prepare to be boarded. You are not allowed in this zone. Captain Mira didn't respond. Engineer Tom whispered, should we run? No, Mira said quietly. Let's see what Artemis can do. The Zarkan scout moved even closer. It charged its weapons. Then, in one shot, the Vanguard's cannon fired. There was no sound in space, but the light from the blast was bright. The alien scout ship exploded into pieces. No escape, no warning, just silence after the storm. Artemis spoke again. Threat neutralized. The crew sat in silence. The first real test of Earth's prototype had ended in just 1 second. But the explosion had sent a signal across space. The Zarkan Empire now knew what happened. And they were not laughing anymore. They were preparing for revenge. The silence after the scout ship's end was heavy. Inside the warship, no one spoke. Captain Mira Lane kept her eyes on the screen. Engineer Tom Reyes looked at the controls, while Neil Park checked the signal logs. The light from the distant star painted the ship's walls in gold and shadow. Everything felt calm, but they all knew it wouldn't stay that way. Far away, many eyes were watching. The small event that had taken place in the quiet part of space had not gone unnoticed. The Zarkan Empire's listening posts had picked up the energy signature. It was unlike anything they had seen before. The report was sent to their command center, floating above their homeworld. There, Admiral Kratal read the details. His cold eyes narrowed. So, the humans built something different, he muttered. He was not amused. He ordered more scouts to investigate, but deep inside, something troubled him. The humans had said nothing. No messages, no warnings, only silence. It was not fear, it was confidence. Back on the Vanguard, Artemis continued running tests. The cannon systems were stable. The engine showed no damage. The power levels were high. She spoke to the crew in her usual calm tone. All systems ready for next phase. Captain Mire gave a nod. Move us to point theta. Begin stealth drive. The ship's engines changed. No noise, no bright light. The warship gently moved through space, leaving no trace behind. It blended with the darkness. Artemis had been designed to not only fight, but also to hide. The crew had trained for this. Earth's scientists had built the ship not to lead wars, but to end them before they began. The goal was clear: never be the attacker, but always be prepared to respond when no one else could. As the Vanguard moved silently, Artemis picked up a new signal. It was weak but constant. Unusual frequency detected, she said. Neil leaned forward. That's not Zarkan. It's older, ancient tech. Can you track it? Mira asked. Yes. Estimated time to signal origin: 6 hours. Without any vote or discussion, the warship changed direction. While the crew followed the unknown signal, the Zarkan Council was in deep talks. Some wanted to ignore Earth. Others wanted to send a message. But Admiral Kratal had another idea. We will send the Azure Wing, he said. Everyone in the room became quiet. The Azure Wing was not the biggest fleet, but it was fast and known for testing new enemies. It was a warning, not a war. Back on the Vanguard, hours passed. Then they found it, a quiet, broken satellite drifting in space. It was spinning slowly, its lights blinking weakly. The signal came from it. This isn't alien tech, Tom whispered. It's human. But it's not ours, Mira replied. Artemis scanned the device. This satellite is over 200 years old. It launched from a Mars colony that was lost during the early years of expansion. Mira looked at the broken metal. So that's what called us here. Then, Artemis paused. New contact detected. Multiple ships. Arrival in 4 minutes. The crew jumped into action. Artemis pulled up star maps. The ships were fast, organized, and coming in formation. They belonged to the Zarkan Empire, she added. The Vanguard didn't move. It stayed still, floating near the old satellite. Captain Mira watched the radar, her face calm. They're not shooting, Neil said. Not yet, Mira replied. They're watching, just like we are. The Zarkan ships circled from a distance. They made no move to come closer. It was clear they didn't want to fight. Not now. Not until they understood what Earth's ship could really do. The moment was quiet, tense. Then, a single message came from the Lid Zarkan ship. It was short. Identify your purpose. Mira thought for a moment. Then she replied with 3 simple words. Testing. That's all. The message was sent. The Zarkan ships didn't answer. They floated for a while longer, then slowly turned and moved away, leaving the Vanguard alone once again. Inside the ship, no one relaxed. They didn't attack, Neil said, almost surprised. Mira stood still. Because they're not sure anymore. That's the most dangerous kind of silence. Tom asked the question that was on everyone's mind. What happens when they stop being unsure? Artemis answered. Then we see what Earth is truly capable of. The crew didn't speak after that. They all knew something bigger was coming. And this was only the beginning. The stars around the Vanguard remained still, like silent watchers of something no one fully understood yet. The Zarkan ships were now gone, but the space they had left behind felt heavier than before. Captain Mira sat in the command chair, her eyes focused on the slowly turning satellite in front of them. "This old machine sent out a signal after all these years," Neil said quietly. "Why now?" "No one sends a message without reason," Mira replied, "even if they don't mean to." Artemis had been studying the signal. There is something unusual. The signal carried a low-frequency data pulse, encrypted. Tom raised an eyebrow. "From a lost Mars colony." "Possible. Or maybe someone used it later. It could be a relay, not the source," Artemis answered. The warship's engines remained idle as Artemis decoded the strange message. Meanwhile, the crew began to sense something was different. The ship, though full of silent systems and cold metal, almost felt like it was waiting. Like it had stepped into a puzzle it was meant to solve. Hours passed. Artemis finally spoke again. Message translated. It is a fragment of human language. Very old. Possibly pre-space age. Everyone leaned in to listen. The words came in a soft voice from the speakers. "When silence surrounds you, listen deeper. The echo will show the path." Neil blinked. "That's it." Mira nodded slowly. Sometimes the shortest messages carry the deepest meaning. Suddenly, Artemis picked up something else. A new signal, faint, far, and strange. It was not like any known transmission. It moved slowly across space, like a heartbeat. Boom, boom, boom. "This pattern is not natural," Artemis said. "It is artificial, and it's moving." Tom pulled up the map. "It's not coming toward us. It's moving away." Captain Mira looked at the direction of the signal. "Can we follow it?" "Yes, but the source is on the edge of a system marked as unstable." "Show me." The screen lit up, displaying a star system with broken rings, shattered moons, and clouds of space dust. It had no known colonies. Most ships avoided it due to poor navigation conditions. "That's why it's perfect," Mira whispered. "No one would hide something in plain space anymore, not when they could hide it in chaos." The Vanguard began moving again, gently entering the path of the strange signal. It traveled silently, sliding between drifting rocks and old magnetic storms. The AI guided them through with calm precision. As they entered deeper into the system, strange readings began to appear. Space was not empty here. There were structures, broken, floating, covered in layers of ice and dust. Ruins of something old, something forgotten. Artemis scanned one of the closest objects. Unknown origin. Possibly built before Earth had reached orbit. Tom looked surprised. Then who built them? Unknown. The deeper they went, the more remains they saw. Not machines, not cities, but shapes, towers, spires, spheres, covered in time and silence. No names, no lights, only whispers left in metal. Then Artemis stopped the ship. Signal now directly below us. The crew looked at the main screen. Beneath the ship, hidden inside a floating asteroid, was a structure. Half buried, half exposed. Its surface was smooth and dark. No marks, no lights. But it was awake. Artemis spoke again. "I believe this is a vault. It is locked." "Can you open it?" Mira asked. "Possibly, but doing so may alert others." The crew exchanged glances. Mira thought for a moment, then nodded. "Proceed." Carefully, Artemis began working. The ship sent soft pulses, careful not to disturb the system around it. The vault began to respond. A soft blue light appeared on its surface. Then a crack, like a door parting in silence. Inside, there was no gold, no weapons, no machines. Just knowledge. Data streams. Symbols. Unknown languages. Star charts from a time long past. Some even pointed to Earth, long before humans had looked up at the stars. "This vault is not ours," Artemis said, "but it has known of us for a long time." Neil leaned forward. "Are we looking at something that watched humanity grow?" "Maybe," Mira said, "or maybe something that wanted us to find it." Suddenly, Artemis gave a soft alert. "New movement detected." "Zarkin?" Tom asked. "No. Different signal. Unknown signature. One ship. Approaching slowly." Mira stood quietly. Then the silence is finally over. The strange ship moved slowly through the broken star system. It didn't match any records from the Zarkin Empire, Earth, or any known alliance. Its shape was smooth, curved, almost like it was grown rather than built. It gave off no threat, no lights, just a soft humming signal, almost like a tune carried on wind. Inside the Vanguard, all systems stayed ready, but the crew didn't act in panic. Captain Mira Lane stood calmly, watching the ship's approach on the screen. The ancient vault below them remained open, glowing faintly. Artemis spoke quietly. "The unknown ship has stopped at a safe distance. It is scanning us." "Can it understand what we are?" Neil asked. Artemis answered, "Possibly, but its technology is very different. It might not see us the way we see ourselves." Mira nodded. "Let's observe. No action unless they make one." The quiet grew deeper as both ships floated among the ruins of the forgotten system. There was something respectful in the way the new ship waited, like it understood the importance of the place. Then a signal came through. Not words, not sounds. Images. Flashes of stars being born, ancient buildings rising, creatures walking under different suns. Then, finally, a planet. It wasn't Earth. It was blue, yes, but the land was strange, and the sky had twin moons. The image paused there for a moment, then faded. Neil blinked. Was that a greeting? "I believe so," Artemis said. "They are showing us their origin." Tom leaned forward. "Are they trying to say they're peaceful?" "Maybe," Mira said. "Or maybe they want us to understand that they've been watching, just like this vault has." The glowing symbols inside the vault changed. New lights appeared, and the floor began to shift, revealing more of the hidden chamber. It wasn't just a storage place, it was a library. Artemis decoded parts of it slowly. These are records of civilizations. Many of them no longer exist. Some never even reached space. And yet they were remembered, Mira whispered. "Yes," Artemis replied. "Whoever built this, they wanted to keep stories alive." The alien ship slowly turned, facing the vault. A small beam of light stretched from it, touching the edge of the structure. The symbols changed again. A new set of data appeared, this time including Earth's solar system. "This confirms it," Neil said. "They knew about us." "But how?" Tom asked. "We were never part of this network." "Maybe we were always meant to be," Mira answered. Suddenly, Artemis gave a soft alert. Another contact. Zarkin ship, alone, approaching fast. Everyone looked at the screen. The symbol was clear, a scout, likely sent after the last encounter. Maybe they had tracked the Vanguard. Maybe they were just curious. Either way, the silence was about to be tested again. The Zarkin ship slowed as it entered the area. It did not fire, did not send any message. But its presence made the moment heavy. The alien ship, still peaceful, did not react. It simply remained in place, calm, as though it had seen this before. Then something unexpected happened. The vault reacted. A deep pulse moved through space, not loud, but full of meaning. A signal that reached all ships. Artemis translated it in seconds. Observer limit reached. Access granted to all who seek, denied to those who take. Tom whispered, "It knows we're being watched." "The vault has rules," Artemis said. "We are allowed because we came with silence and patience." Neil looked at the Zarkin ship. "What about them?" Mira didn't answer. She just watched. She knew this was a test, not of strength, but of intent. The Zarkan ship stayed still. For long minutes, it made no move. Then slowly, it backed away, just a little. Not fleeing, but showing respect. A message blinked on the screen, translated by Artemis. "We will wait. Show us what you find." Mira smiled slightly. They're beginning to listen. Artemis opened the next layer of the vault. What it revealed was beyond any of their dreams. It wasn't just a record of history. It was a map of possible futures. Some bright, some dark, all shaped by the choices of those who dared to step forward. And Earth was on every path. The map from the vault was unlike anything the crew had ever seen. It didn't show just stars or planets. It showed paths, not only of space, but of choices. Lines of light curved across the holographic display, splitting and reconnecting, each branch marked by a symbol, a tone, or a brief flash of emotion. Captain Mira stood still, trying to understand it. They aren't just places. They're events, she whispered. Artemis nodded. Possibilities. Outcomes. Different futures. Tom leaned closer. And Earth is in every one of them. Yes, Artemis confirmed. Sometimes leading, sometimes learning, sometimes watching. But always present. Neil frowned thoughtfully. But how could they know? These charts, some are millions of years ahead. Maybe it's not about knowing, Mira said softly. Maybe it's about trusting what could be. Suddenly, one section of the map glowed brighter. A circle formed around 3 systems. One of them was Earth. The others were unknown, unmarked. Artemis ran a scan. These systems are not in our records, but the symbols above them suggest importance. Tom narrowed his eyes. What kind of importance? Possible connection points, Artemis said. Places where paths shift, where something important happens that changes everything else. Mira gave a quiet command. Mark them. We'll need to understand each one. While the crew studied the map, a soft chime echoed through the ship. The unknown vessel is sending another message, Artemis said. This time, the images were slower, calm scenes of planets with green skies and floating mountains, people working together to build towers of light. Then came scenes of falling stars, not as destruction, but as change. Each image ended with a symbol, the same one now glowing above Earth's position on the map. It's a guide, Mira realized. They're showing us what can be. Neil added, or what should be, if we choose right. Outside, the Zarkan scout ship remained still. It hadn't left, but it also didn't interfere. It was watching, learning, and perhaps waiting for its own path to appear. Suddenly, the alien ship shifted slightly. A new signal formed, a simple pattern of dots and pulses. Artemis studied it. They're asking a question, she said. What kind of question? Mira asked. Artemis paused, then replied. They want to know if we are ready to take a role, to become more than observers. Silence filled the bridge. Tom spoke slowly. They're inviting us into something bigger. Mira nodded. A network. A gathering of those who protect knowledge, paths, futures. But why us? Neil asked. Why now? Artemis answered. Because Earth was once a silent world that no one watched. And now it has built something that listens, something like Vanguard. The vault below the ship gave off a low hum. More of its data opened, revealing structures and languages once spoken across other stars. Among them were new sets of coordinates, unknown locations, maybe ruins, maybe active, each one marked with symbols of learning and reflection. The choice now sat with the humans. Stay on course, or follow a new one. Captain Mira made her decision. Send a response, she said to Artemis. Let them know we're willing to learn. Artemis created a message, not in words, but in images, just like they had sent. A picture of Earth, of hands reaching out, of stars forming, of quiet hope. The alien ship received it. For a moment, it simply floated there. Then, slowly, it turned and moved ahead, leading the way. A soft path of light appeared behind it, visible only through the vault's lens. A new journey had begun. And though the Vanguard had once been Earth's first defense, it was becoming something else. A bridge to the unknown. The path of light ahead shimmered gently, stretching into a part of space the Vanguard had never seen before. The alien ship moved slowly but surely, as if it knew exactly where it was going. Behind it, Earth's first deep space warship followed, not as a protector this time, but as a student. Inside the bridge, the crew was quiet. Everyone was thinking, watching. The stars outside were changing. They were entering a region where space felt different, lighter somehow, almost like it was breathing. Coordinates matched the last vault sequence. Artemis said calmly, "We're still on the path." Mira stood at the front, eyes on the view ahead. "Stay alert, but open." The alien ship sent another signal. This time, it wasn't just images, it was sound. Soft tones, like a distant melody, began to play through the ship's audio systems. Each note seemed to match a symbol on the map from the vault. It wasn't random. It was language, not spoken, but felt. Artemis translated slowly. "It's telling us a story, not just theirs, but the story of many worlds." Scenes began to unfold across the screen, memories not just from one species, but many. A tree glowing on a desert planet, a child writing on stone with light, floating structures made from song. Each world had added something, left something behind. "This is a trail of learning," Neil whispered. "Like a road built from ideas." Tom added, "And now we're a part of it." The Vanguard arrived at the first destination. It wasn't a planet, it was a station. Huge, silent, and ancient. It floated between two suns, its surface covered in patterns that shimmered with soft blue light. The alien ship stopped and sent one final signal. A doorway opened on the station. A small light moved from the ship to the station's entrance and waited. Mira gave the order. "Prepare a team. Not to claim, not to control, just to listen." When the crew stepped inside the station, they found no people, only presence. Walls softly glowing, corridors humming with quiet tones, and central rooms filled with floating shapes, memory crystals from other civilizations. Each crystal held a story. Some were warnings, some were dreams, some were questions no one had answered yet. Artemis guided them through the translations. "This station is a place of passing knowledge forward. No rulers, no weapons, just lessons." One crystal opened a message meant for them. It showed Earth, just as it had appeared in early space history. Then it showed a future, possible, not certain. Earth with ships of light, working beside others, building not from fear, but from wonder. Tom whispered, "They never laughed at us." Not really. They were waiting. Neil nodded, and testing if we would respond with fear or with curiosity. Back on the bridge, as the crew returned from the station, Artemis activated the next part of the map. More paths appeared, dozens of them. Some stretched far into the unknown. Others looped back to systems they thought they knew. But all of them had one thing in common: choice. Captain Mira turned to her team. "This isn't the end. It's the real beginning." The alien ship slowly started to move again, then paused. A final signal blinked once, a symbol for friends, followed by a symbol for next. Mira smiled. "Let's follow, one step at a time." As the Vanguard moved forward once more, the stars around them seemed to shift, not because they had changed, but because the crew now saw them differently. Each star was not just a point of light, but a possible story. And Earth, once thought small and late to the stars, was now a name whispered by ancient systems, not as a warning, not as a threat, but as a promise.